Hi, Wonder Class, and welcome to Wednesday, the 3rd of February 2021's English lesson. So, the learning objective for today's lesson is can I write out the next part of our innovation? So, in yesterday's lesson, we looked at writing up the introduction to our new text map, and today we're going to be writing out the next part. Now, remember, when we're writing non chronological reports, they don't have to be written in a specific order. So, the order that I choose might be different to the order that you choose. So, let's read over the paragraph that we created yesterday. So, have you ever wondered what makes a fantastic leader? Read on to find out all about the wonderful Mrs. Bowen and how she led her school to be unique, special, and outstanding. So, let's have a look. Today, we're going to be writing out part of the next section of the non-chronological report. So, in in my plan, I've written the next section to be early life. So, a bit about Mrs. Bowen and where she grew up. So, what you need to remember is your toolkits, what goes into your non chronological report. So, you need to remember that you need a title, you will need paragraphs, you will need subheadings, you will need a diagram written in past tense if it's a historical non chronological report. However, this one is a present day one, so it would be in present tense as well as past tense when you're talking about the past events. Historical facts where needed, pronouns, conjunctions that combine more than one idea. So have a look back at your own toolkits because that will be of good use. So things to remember when writing paragraphs. So number one, all the sentences within the paragraph should be about the same person, place, time, or topic. Number two, when the person, place, time, or topic changes, that's when you should then start a new paragraph. So, for example, if I'm writing about Mrs. Bowen's early life and then I want to write about Mrs. Bowen's hobbies, because they're two different topics that I'm talking about, I would then need to split that into two different paragraphs. So, early life would be the first paragraph and hobbies would be the second paragraph. Number three, every new paragraph should start on a new line. So that's something to remember when you're writing. Leave a line and start on a new line. So let's watch a clip to help us with our writing. So I'm just going to take us to this web page and have a look. So okay, so there you could see why, and it just highlighted the three reasons why we write in paragraphs and how to do that. So when you're ready, you can always go back and watch that video clip again. So why do we use paragraphs? What do you think we use paragraphs in a piece of writing for? Mind map your ideas. So here you can pause the screen and have a little time to write down your ideas of why we use paragraphs. And when you're ready and you press play, I will then reveal this to you. Okay, so you might have had some time to have a little brainstorm about why we use paragraphs, and I've got some ideas here. So, paragraphs are used to explain or describe an idea in detail, to group ideas together, to make the text easier to read is something that I definitely think is really useful when reading something with paragraphs in it because it's much more clearer. To organize what is being explained in the text and to show the author has changed time, place, or argument. So those are just some ideas that you might like to add to your spider diagram. So let's work through the next few paragraphs together. So what we're going to be doing is looking at our plan. So if I go back to our plan, the next subheading that we're going to be writing about is the early life. So where Mrs. Bowen grew up. So something about her early life. So if I show you an example of what I've written for her early life, we can go through how that looks like. So early, I'm going to write here subheading. And here is the subheading for early life. If I just make it a little bit bigger. So all I've done here is I've taken the information about Mrs. Bowen's early life and put it into a paragraph. So I've got my subheading. My subheading is early life. You could always change the subheading to something else. And I've written my paragraph starting. Mrs. Bowen grew up in Langley. She went to Holy Family and then to St. Joseph's in Wexham. So because I've noted 2 schools and an area, they have capital letters. In her school days, she tells of how her head teacher was very strict and wanted everyone to do the best that they could. So that's just a little bit of information taken from Mrs. Bowen's spider diagram. So the next part that I have planned to write about was Mrs. Bowen's first interest. So I'm going to show you and read you what I've written here as well. So here I've got another paragraph written. So my subheading is first interest. So when you're writing it yourselves, you would underline with a ruler. And remember not to type this up to write it out. So first interest subheading underline. Mrs. Bowen was first interested in computing when she was in secondary school. This may have also been an influence from her father who worked with computers also. So I've taken this information from the spider diagram. She followed her interest and then went on to university to study business computer systems. She then decided that she wanted to make a difference to people's lives and working in an office wasn't doing this for her. So then I can go on to talk about anything else that I choose. So that is just a simple way of how I've taken the information from the spider diagram, put it into a box up, and then filtered that out into sentences which now form set paragraphs. So you guys can have a go at that today as your task. So let's see what you're actually going to be doing. So the first thing you're going to do is write down the subheadings you are going to be using in your writing. So you might change early life to something else. Remember, you still don't have to write in a specific order. It's literally what you choose and how you choose to write it. Task number 2 is write out the rest of the non-chronological report. And task number 3 is create a fun fact box about Mrs. Bowen, which should be fun to do because if we go back to our spider diagram on Mrs. Bowen, not all of these things will come under subheadings. Some of these things like special skills or favorite things about being a head teacher might just come into fun facts because they don't actually have to be in a full paragraph. So those are your 3 activities for today. And I hope you enjoy doing them. Remember to post your work onto Tapestry and I look forward to seeing it all. Bye, see everyone in the next lesson.